Okay.
So I'm going to tell you the story of Moses. So there's a boy named Moses. We're not to that part yet. So there's a guy named Pharaoh. He does not believe in God. He believes in Satan. So Pharaoh decides, and there's these people named the Israelites or the Hebrews, and they did all the work, all of it. And then nope, not to that part yet. So then Pharaoh decides there's so much Israelites that he couldn't take it. So he decides the next born baby boy will have to be thrown in the Nile River and sent somewhere. So then Moses was born, and his mother had to do that. But first, his mother hid him for 3 months. Then he couldn't hide him anymore because he was so big. So he So she put him in the Nile River by a shallow end, and then the Pharaoh's daughter finds baby Moses, and then she decides that it's she wants to keep him. And then the daughter of the big sister of Moses, I guess, spies on the Pharaoh's daughter, and then she says, I'll take the baby. She comes out and says to the princess, I'll take the baby, and then she goes to take the baby. So she gives him to his mother, and she tells the story, and then she goes and hides him for I don't know how long, and then he comes back, and then she gives it to the princess, gives Moses to the princess. So Moses has a lot going on. So then she gives Moses back to the princess, and then the princess owns baby Moses now. So he plays all the time. He plays with, and he learns. And then he grows up and he tries to help the Israelites. And he's also a believer of God. He helps the Israelites, but they just keep getting badder and badder and badder, and they just keep getting hurt. So then here come the 10 plagues.
Yep.
I think 10 plagues. 10? Okay. So the first plague, I might not remember these. But the first plague, I know the first plague, it was all the water turned to blood and all the fish were dead. That was the first plague. And then Pharaoh said, I'll let the Israelites go. Just stop it. So he did. And then he changed his mind. So then he said the second plague, and it was frogs everywhere. Frogs came out of it. I'm glad I wasn't an Egyptian, because I am afraid of frogs. Well, not really anymore, but those giant ones, oh yes I am. Because what, they just hop onto your face.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on. So he said, please stop. We'll let the Israelites go. And then he changes his mind again. But when he stops it, there's so much smelly stuff everywhere because the frogs die where they're jumping and stuff. So yeah. And then the third plague was, do you know the third plague? I don't remember.
I don't know. You're the storyteller.
I don't remember the third plague.
Locusts?
No, wasn't it the fourth? No, wasn't that the seventh? Okay, we might not do these in order.
Alright, well there are just a bunch of plagues. How about you just say that?
There's a bunch of plagues. I'll say the ones that I remember. There was locusts in one, so they ate all the veggies and stuff. One was the last one, the 9th one, before the big 10th one. The 9th one was it turned black for 3 days. Everything was black. They couldn't see anything. Everything turned black for 3 days. And then the last plague, the biggest and biggest and biggest and biggest and biggest and biggest and biggest plague ever. So that one was, so the Israelites had a rule from Jesus or God to kill a lamb and then put their blood, or a goat, to put their blood on the door, on the tops of the door, and then during the Passover, it's called a Passover, God would go and kill the first child of the Egyptians. Good thing I'm not an Egyptian, because then I would be killed.
I would have put blood over the door.
I know, but what if we were Egyptians?
I would have put blood over the door to say that we were
Even though
believers.
But they didn't give that to the Egyptians.
I
They
know.
only give that. But if we were Egyptians, I would be killed.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm not. I'm glad I wasn't born in the old time. I'm glad I wasn't an Egyptian. But Egyptians aren't cool. Now they're cool. So, okay, now, now the Passover has happened, so they put blood on the doors so Jesus would actually pass over them and they wouldn't kill their first child. Good thing, once again, I'm not an Egyptian. Because I'm a believer in God, and I love God, and I love God. So, yeah. And Jesus. So, yeah. Okay. So, then finally, Pharaoh actually lets us go, and he doesn't change his mind. So they go, and then he changes his mind again, once they already left. So they left, and so God sends a pillar of cloud in the day so the Israelites know that he's still with them. And then at night he sends a pillar of fire so they know that he's with them. And yeah, so that happens, and then Pharaoh changes his mind once again, and then he goes and he sends the chariots, but the chariots are coming and they're blocked off because there's a Red Sea. So, this is one of my favorite parts too. Moses takes his staff and taps it. Then God opens the Red Sea, and so they walk through the Red Sea. And it's so cool. I wish I did that because I think it'd be so cool. So, and then he closes up the Red Sea, and then all the chariots and horses and horsemen would all sunk in. So they go, and then they start grumbling because they want food and water. So, here's the part that we might stop. So each day of the week, they would get something at the door. They would collect food. They would go and collect food because God gave them food. And then the day before the Sabbath, they would have twice as much food, so they had enough food for the Sabbath day.
What was the food?
I haven't learned that yet.
Yes, you did. Stop. It was, what meat was it?
Meat?
Yeah, when he sent a whole bunch of what to be the meat?
Lamb?
No,
Cows?
it was a bird.
Oh yeah! Bird meat.
The quail.
The quail.
What
Yeah.
did you do about the water?
No, hold on. We're not to that part yet. This is my storytelling stage. But I will tell you if I
Okay.
need help. And if you know it, then you're going to help me. So So on the Sabbath, they don't get any food to collect, and still, some people go out to search and there's no food. And that good thing they collected twice as much food, so they had food for the Sabbath. Hold on. But before all that, he throws a log. Ugh. They were grumbling. They're actually grumbling to God. So God makes Moses throw a log into the ocean, lake, water, and then there's food everywhere, and then there comes the Sabbath, and then my story is done.
Manna.
Isn't that the story of Spain?
No.
What?
The manna was the bread that tastes like crackers that taste like honey.
Oh, and that was also what they ate for.
And they made the water was bitter, so they threw a log in it.
Yeah, that.
Or a piece of wood.
Okay, I know. That's what happened. So, yeah. And then let me tell you, you might see this story in the next video. So, let's start it though. So, there was Moses and his wife. He found his wife. He found a wife. And then I think they had children. I don't know, but I think they have children. And then he has a cow as a pet. And then he takes his cow out one day, and he goes to collect food with his cow. And then, then he sees this burning bush, and it was actually God telling him, oh, here's part before the Israelites left. And he was telling them to go tell Aaron, his brother, that they need to go to Egypt and tell Pharaoh and show stuff that he can do.
Let his people go.
Yeah, to let his people go. And then the plagues happen. But I didn't tell that part because that was a fast one, so I didn't tell the details. But now I'm cutting in and doing the details. So then he goes and tells Aaron.
Right.
And then he shows all the Israelites, because the Israelites were grumbling. And then they went to go. And then Aaron showed them what he could do. And then he does that to the Egyptians, to the Egyptian magicians. And then he turns his staff into a snake. And then the Egyptian magicians do that too, to show that they can do the same stuff. And then the plagues happen, and then they can't do that. And then they let the Israelites go, and then there's a story. And then, yeah, I'm gonna see what happens next. And then I will see you on my next video. Like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. See you guys next time. Bye.